job. I don't have a lot of hours to just grind out the game, even though I do spend a lot of time playing. It's just real life, you know. Console Andy over here, you know. This is how we do it. My main thing is, if you are a new returning player, this is probably one of the best ways to be able to get a lot of the content handled in the game, and then get it to where you're comfortable and familiar, and you can start to get more of the end game stuff completed. This node trivializes a lot of the game. You don't even need the highest tier, and you don't even need a 6 link. I could break my 6 link and do a 4. Maybe I'll do it for some content stuff and do some Ubers with it, but this is literally the most broken node in the game. I don't even have the one that spawns additional totems. I don't even think it's that necessary. All you need is a bow with this node on it. Could even be like a staff or something else, but bow just so happens to be really nice with the meta for a few reasons. But this is what you're looking for. Let's go over my build. This kind of looks similar from my last video. I don't know what to do with the other 6 link. It's really unnecessary. All I need is my main. I've got some stupid cast when stun setup going on. I really don't know what to do with this 6 link. But just for the shorten it down a little bit, let me just go through what we're doing here. This is the bow. This is a well-crafted Mariketh bow. It's been a while. I just got back from a vacay, and I haven't really put much time in the last couple weeks, so I'm a little off on, you know, where I was at with this build, because I've been focusing on my other build, which we'll get into shortly. But this is basically the GG craft of the bow. You want to, obviously, you're going to roll it and get some sort of a +1 to socketed gems or damage over time multiplier, something along those lines. And then you're going to block your gosh, I can't even remember. I think it's you block your prefixes cannot be changed. What is it? Okay, no. So there's some crafting videos out there to check out. It's really not that hard to do. I can't remember exactly what the method is, because like I said, it's been a while since, and I wanted to do a video right after I made the bow to kind of go over the craft. But there's plenty of other guides out there to teach you how to craft this bow. It's really not that expensive. Maybe about 10 divine on an unlucky run. If you're really unlucky. You could probably get this done with like 5 to 10 divine, because you do have to multi-mod a couple of times, and you do have to use a couple of meta mods on the bench. And if you get, and it's fairly deterministic. It's fairly deterministic. You can get either one of two rolls. I have this, as you see, the 86% increased chaos damage over time. Might not be the best, but that is, if it's not the best, it's probably second best. I think poisons deal damage faster is probably your target with this craft, but this interaction is so broken, you're going to reach dot cap regardless. So as we know, the meta is totem on a trap support, devouring totem, multiple traps, cluster traps. I have an empower, and we have devouring totem with multiple totems set up. So we're getting a lot of levels out of our devouring totem because of our empower. As we level it, the empower, okay, it is max, but this can go a little higher. I think we can get it up to 28, 29, which is completely unnecessary. Like, we're just pushing it to push it. As a console player, I don't have the luxury to be able to throw my stuff into PoE a lot. I know I can use like a laptop on the side, but I'm just a poor person who really doesn't have access to a lot of that. I do have buddies that play that might help me out from time to time with like imports and PoE and things like that. I just don't have the luxury or the ability to be able to plug in PoBs and do all that min-maxing stuff, which is another side thing I want to address, because I think that, you know, this game is very complex. and you don't really need third-party tools if you know what you're doing. I've been on console for quite some time, playing this game since it came out a few years ago, and it's the only reason why is because it's the only thing I have. So I'll tell you right now, as someone who's been playing this game for quite some time and enjoy it, I really don't think third-party tools are absolutely necessary. We have a lot of built-in tools, and if you know how to get around it and you want to get around it and want to min-max your stuff, you're going to min-max your stuff. So let's just go over the build real quick. You already saw the bow. Look up the craft. It's not that hard to do. It's pretty deterministic. Just even if it's on a 4-link, you're going to be able to do just fine. And you don't need the Empower. I was running this just fine with a Devouring Totem, multiple totems, trap, and what was it? No, it was Devouring Totem, trap, multi-trap, cluster trap. I'm pretty sure that was the 4-link. But yes, anyway, we want to be able to spam our traps out. So, or wait, what is it? Devouring Totem, multiple totems, trap, cluster trap. Anyway, don't quote me. Look back on one of my further videos if you're curious about it, because I was running this on a 4-link for quite a bit while I was doing my bossing. We are running a Cospri's Will. Get right into the build. We're running a Cospri's Will because I don't want to waste aura space for a chance to poison Herald, anything like that. This basically makes it to where my hits poison, and it does work with the Totem Explodes. So I don't have to take any poison chance on the tree, and I'm freed up to get into defenses and all sorts of stuff. So I don't know. Everyone runs the Lightning Coil. It's a great chess piece for defenses. I recommend running the Lightning Coil, and I recommend running, your Herald of Agony to get all your poison cap, poison on hit. That is probably going to be the safest bet. But with the way I'm playing this build, I have such high defense and such high amounts of recovery that I really don't see the point in running the Lightning Coil, especially because if I do die, I'm just corpse rushing the boss anyways, and I'm overpowering the Ubers. It's 6 portals is enough kind of mentality. I know it's kind of cringe, but that's just how I play the game. If I die, I die. If I can't do it in 6 portals, then obviously I gotta fix something. And I have had no issues. Most Ubers were down in at least 2 to 3 portals. Uber Sirius was probably the most heinous just because I hadn't done it in a while. And I forgot about a lot of the mechanics, and I got down to like my last 2. I think I failed on one of them. I did not fail the Uber though, which is funny because it's like I failed the first one and I did not fail the Uber. Secondly, what we're doing is we're converting our fizz into chaos damage. Well, not like converting, more or less like fizz as extra chaos. With the Ming's Heart, and we're also getting it from my boots here. There's another mod you can get with the influence that'll give you just flat percentage of fizz as extra chaos. It doesn't have to say wildly unique as in your presence. I was just rolling and I was short on orbs and I landed on this one, so I decided to keep it. The main thing of this build is going to be getting a Devouring Diadem. This is probably best quality of life. I wouldn't say it's mandatory because you are going to be able to access it on the tree, but with the amount of mana that this skill costs on a 6-link is so insane that you want to trigger Feast of Flesh every 5 seconds. That is what's going to basically save your butt on really weird maps and hardcore can't regen things and stuff like that. The only other thing I would say is probably the most mandatory unique in this build is going to be the Asenath's Gentle Touch. This is basically going to make it to where we're constantly poisoning because we're running Cospri's Will. Cospri's Will As you see, always poison on hit against cursed enemies. This is a recent change with this new patch. It didn't used to be this. It used to be a 60%, but now it's always poison. So, hooray! Cospri's Will, super mega cheap. Like, when I was first setting this up together, all I had was a crappy bow, which was not a Mariketh. It was only a 4-link, and I had a Cospri's Will. I did get a decent rolled Ming's Heart, catalysted it up. This can get close to 70, I think. I think it's 70, 71 is like the highest. 70, don't quote me. But what is my roll on this anyways? So I'm a 42. Oh, no, sorry. I'm a 52, and it can go up to 60. So, yes, I believe this can get all the way up to 70% physical damage as extra chaos. I think that's the main cap if you had a perfect roll. Our amulet is basically just to fill out our stats. As you can see, this gear on here is nothing too impressive at all, but this is my final form. I'm not going to push this any further. This is good enough for me. This does everything I want it to do. It bosses, it does everything. This is my quiver. It's kind of more or less just a stat stick. The only thing I'm really getting off this is the chaos res, life, and then the 15% of physical is extra chaos. So there's 15% here, there's 7% here, and then there's 62% here, which gets me close to 100%. You really don't need all that, but that's what's really going to make this build super shine and make it to where everything's absolutely trivialized. I haven't played this build in a while. I can just run a quick little boss just to find out, just to showcase like how dumb the damage is. I mean, everyone's seen it. It's been all over the internet. How trivialized the gameplay is on this build. We are running Pathfinder with the Master Surgeon, so we're basically getting Enduring Life Flask. This is what you want your Life Flask to look like if you're running an Enduring setup. You want a high quality 62% whatever percent increased amount recovered. That is a tier 2, so it can go higher for sure. This is good enough for me, but upgrading this is not a priority. Like I said, we're basically cheesing everything in the game. And then Corrupting Blood immune, just because it's easy to get on the flask, and I don't have to worry about any of the slot. I'm running all 3 elemental type flasks, extra evasion on my ruby. I don't think I'm getting any spell damage leeches, energy shield. I might be. I have no idea. I really don't think this is actually working for me. But I haven't bothered to re-roll it. So no need to. I could get something better, but I'm really not concerned about it. I love running reduce effective curses during effect, especially if I'm Pathfinder, because I can get curse immune real easily. That is a tier 1 roll, and it is super nice. Perfect roll. And all I need is a Pantheon or something else on the side, and I'm 100%. But that's pretty much good enough for me. I don't think this build has anything else for reduce effective curse on me. And then, of course, a uber movement speed flask, because you want to move fast. And I got a really nice one here. Rolling these flasks can be kind of a pain in the butt. And yes, it's 28 quality because I did a lot of June. So when you do a lot of June, you get chances to get those benches. For the flask crafts, if you're doing Hillock and research, I believe is what it is. Don't quote me on it. Like I said, it's been a while. I've been off my game on this particular build, but let me just go ahead and show you how it's set up. The Pathfinder is going to be the Ascendancy of choice. I'm running a Master Surgeon setup, and then of course I'm getting my Nature's Reprisal and Master Toxicist, because this is what makes it viable. Oh, I'm sorry. Nature's Reprisal. I'm sorry, Master Toxicist. I was right. This is what makes it viable for like mapping. It's really a lame mapper. It doesn't do great. It's super single target, and this is basically the poison prolif. Nearby enemies are poisoned when you kill a poisoned enemy during any flask effect. So it's kind of a really mandatory, if I would have to say, like, for clear. This is what's going to separate this Toadie from any other Toadie is going to be Master Toxicist. Because we're getting that prolif. Let's take a look here. The tree. It's really not too crazy. We are just going for a lot of life and a couple of these. I'm sorry, it's this one right here. A couple of these masteries is what we're kind of trying to get. I can have up to 5 additional traps placed at a time. I get trap throwing speed, that's quality of life, and then I have one other trap node down here, and that's just to have 2 additional traps. So I can have 7 additional traps placed at a time. And when they all pop off, it just overlayers and overlaps all of that poison damage. Now I do have a couple of poison nodes here, just as increased damages, and that's about it on the damage. These 2 poisons, Swift Venoms and Fatal Toxins, and then these 2 trap nodes here, Master Sapper and what is this? Can't read. It's really hard with console. Sorry, guys. Expeditious Munitions. So 50% increased trigger area of effect, which is really nice. That way they're always popping off, and then everything is just throwing speed for quality of life. The only mastery I think is necessary is this one. So if you want to drop those 3 points down on the other trap node, it's probably doable, but I don't know. I just like the quality of life, and I really don't need much other defenses. Everything else is just life, and then the biggest things that we are doing is we are running the Blood Notch Crimson Jewel along with the... I'm sorry, I have another damage node down there. We'll go over that. Oh, I forgot I had a little cluster set up. We'll address that real fast. Blood Notch Crimson, and then where's my other one? It's... Hold on. I'm off my game today. Blood Notch Crimson, and then there's one more. Where is it? Oh, it's down here. Immutable Force. So we already know this tech. We basically take this Energy Shield Mastery up here, which basically makes it to where our stun threshold is based off of 60% of our energy shield instead of life. And then we run the Blood Notch and Immutable Force combined, so that, well, this is a low roll, but this is pretty decent though for mapping. It's not bad. But yes, basically percent of damage taken, it can roll from 40 to 60. I have a piss poor roll here, obviously. But damage from stunning hits is recovered as life, and we are getting stunned quite frequently. But because of Immutable Force, we really don't feel the effect of the stun because we have an insane amount of recovery. The only other damage node I have on this build is going to be my Dirty Techniques, but this is just for my ailments to deal damage faster, and I did get the duration of ailments and skill effect duration, because duration of ailments and damage done faster kind of goes in tandem when you're doing chaos dot builds. You want your ailments to do damage faster, but what that does is it actually shortens the actual duration. It doesn't deal the total amount of damage faster with the total amount of time. It just means it deals it fast. The total amount will get dealt quicker. So if you have an 8-second, let's just say if you have an 8-second poison and does damage 10% faster, that means that 0.8 seconds of that is going to fall off of the total amount of duration, but it's going to be much quicker with the damage dealt, and it's gonna have an immediate feel of the damage dropping down a lot quicker. However, it's going to fall off faster as well as a result of dealing damage faster. So you counter that with dealing damage, increasing the duration, skill effect duration. Well, in this case, it isn't skill effect duration. It would be in other instances like Toxic Rain and stuff, but we're really only getting a benefit from this mastery for the bottom line, increased duration of ailments on enemies. So it's kind of counteracting the damage faster. That's kind of how poisons work. You want them to deal damage faster, but you want to also compensate with increased duration of ailments so that your poisons don't fall off too quick. That way you can get really good overlaps. And then I guess the only other mandatory thing for this, I would say, would be Ironwood, because of the amount of totem life. And we do want totem life because that's what we're scaling here. Amount of totem life will, the totem will die basically percentage of his life as physical damage. And I think ours is 600%. So as much totem life as we can get is what's going to give us the best result. So just a little showcase of where my build is at. Everything else is basically life nodes, suppression, quality of life, a couple of flask nodes, just because we want to keep that flask uptime perfect. If you notice, I don't have any drop off time on my flasks. They are 100% uptime, and that's kind of where you want it. So you can run any mod as far as a 50% reduce flash charge gain or reduce flash charges gained. That's fine because you don't care about gaining flash charges from the mobs. You're already 100% uptime. So this build literally can run almost every single mod except for cannot regen life or energy shield. That pretty much kills it because we're Eldritch Battery. We need that. I could do it begrudgingly. I could do it. You're really gonna cheese the map, and you're gonna have to stand and wait for your Feast of Flesh to proc, and then you're only getting, like, look, how many spams can I get on a full energy shield? Top left of the screen, watch the bar drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, and then a stutter, and then 7th pops out. So I can only spam that 6 times before it drops off, and then I gotta wait 15 seconds for Feast of Flesh to proc if I have no regeneration. Also, as you notice, I am taking the most OP mastery this league. My life just dropped a lot, but it is a life mastery. It's the skills cost life instead of 30% of mana. I think that's pretty much meta right now. Everyone's running it. But I won't bore people too much with this build because I honestly want to get over to the other ones. So let's just run a quick showcase here. Probably gonna die because geez, I don't know, what can I run? Let me run something. Actually, let me do this because I need to get some fragments. Let me run a frickin' Drox. Drox is pretty heavy. Do I have a Minotaur? I don't have a Minotaur, but I have plenty of Droxes. Let's go to stupid Hydrox. This is a very beastie map. Let's see if we can find one a little bit more beastie. I think that's a mirrored. Alright, we'll run this one. This looks pretty good. You know, for the sake of the video, I'm not going to juice it all the way up, and it really isn't that big of an issue. It's pretty easy to juice up. And I'll just run what I normally run because I need to get some fragments and whatnot. But this will basically be like my final video on this build. This is my bosser. I don't really use this for anything other than bossing. And my next build is my kind of like my passion project. And it's funny because everyone's doing bow league, and it is bow league, and I love bows. So of course we're going right into it, and we're gonna do a Deadeye. And I'll spoil it right now. It is an ice shot. I think ice shot's not as popular as lightning arrow, which is kind of odd to me because we have a lot of things we can do with a lot of nonsensical stuff, which we'll get into. That build is really fun to me. This one's a little bit more, I mean, she's okay. I just need some sulfite because I'm running delve right now trying to get levels. I don't know if you could see the lag, but I am an incredibly laggy person when I play. I've got short video format, so we'll do this run, and then we will do... Yeah, I really need that growth, but it's okay. It's fine. We'll be okay. Oh, jeez. Hope I don't lag out all over the frickin' place. Kind of new to putting out like content like this, and I often get curious like if the lag comes through on the viewing side of it. So I'm gonna rewatch this and kind of see, but it's hard to remember like where my lags are at because it's actually quite laggy right now. What was that, by the way? A lapis. I don't need that. Alright, let's go. Just trying to get through to the Drox. As you can see, it's not like the best clear. It's alright. It's kind of like stuttered. And I actually don't have phasing on the build. The only way I get phasing is if I suppress spell damage. I kind of compensated because I need flask space for my tri-ele flasks. And I didn't want to path for the phasing on the tree. Plus, it's really like lackluster on the tree. It's not that great. It's only on kill. So I figure I'll just use my I'll just use my wither step to get phasing if I need it, and if all else fails, I have a flame dash and I can get through stuff like that, and everything will be fine. Did I see a red star up there? I did not. Okay. But yes, basically, you know, you just throw your totems out on your trap and you proceed. And you don't have to proceed with caution because you basically wreck everything. Alright, check it out. I'll get to the build here. Ah! I forgot to hit my flask. The hardest thing is actually keeping the flask up on your enduring life flask, because you'll forget about it. Check out how fast I drop Drox here. Well, that was terrible flask placement, but terrible totem placement on that first bit. But yes, he's down. That could have been a lot quicker.
Are you hot?
But you get the idea, you know. It is it's very fast. Oh yeah, duh, I gotta get out of here. Okay. So anyway, there's the build. Dropping pretty fast. This is definitely dot cap. There's not much higher I can get. I could probably lose some damage. It's just really hard to tell, even when I do have my buddy to help me POB it, because of the interaction with the way this works. It's kind of hard to like get an accurate number. You have to do some wonky stuff to kind of, you know, figure out what actual damage you're doing. But if you've played any poison build that's gotten to cap before, you're basically there. I think you're there on a 4-link. I was gonna create a cheesy series video of like, you know, all content done on a 4-link. I might still want to do that, but I kind of just got burnt out on this character. But this is basically it. This is your easiest way to tackle all the content in the game right now. I think as far as like meta goes. If you can get +1 to socketed gems and +2 socketed support, running an empower on a devouring totem, you're basically there. Everything else is just icing on top of the cake. Pathfinder is super strong this league, and I really don't see a lot of people playing with Cospri's Will, and I don't know why. You know, it's if we're not playing hardcore, why are you wearing a Lightning Coil? It doesn't make any sense. Throw in the Cospri's Will, get guaranteed poison. It's just that easy. Well, until next time, we're going to go over my other build now. But I will leave y'all for the next video. Peace, peace, exiles.